let's go ahead and talk about some huge news regarding the insane Southwest Florida revamp. Let's talk about optimization, something that is, reasonably worried about. Well, let me just play a video. Yeah, and mind you, this was on the max graphics. Here's the thing though, how many people were in that server? Yeah, it's probably not the most reliable source to determine it's definitely cool to know, right? The fact that it could run that well on max graphics on a phone. I have no idea what phone was used at the time, but it is very cool, I must admit. Many people acknowledge the fact that this revamp looks amazing, but because of how amazing it looks, people are questioning if they can even play it. Then this person mentioned that they're kind of worried if their iPhone 12 is going to be able to run it, or how it's going to handle it. And Kai did mention that older phones are going to be a struggle, most likely. There's a chance it won't be playable on said devices, but we will see. At the end of the day, that conversation happened literally last month, so they probably made some good progress on optimization. Maybe, of course, your phone has to be decent to play this map, of course, There is some things to keep in mind though, right? Of course, this update is not out for the public, so that server was definitely not full. For all we know, he was probably the only one in that server. But even then, on max graphics, it looks like it's running it really well. That's some pretty good news to me. Testing. So on Joji's live stream, which was last night at the time of this recording, Kai actually joined him. He was spilling some info, man. He mentioned that we're going to be possibly getting a test this October. Maybe around Halloween or something. Maybe mid-October. We have no idea, but he said October. Hoping for jobs and the new map and the new refresh for the new car chassis, which I'm going to talk about in detail in a little bit. Last test, we got to check out the new vehicle chassis on this really beautiful track area. It looked amazing, but I think for this next test, we're actually going to be on the new revamp map. That is just going to be insane. Look at this new map, bro. Now, yes, this testing is pretty much just for the content creators and staff, but you guys are going to be able to test it as well very soon. When they do actually announce the test session for actual people other than content creators, they're going to do it for what's called boosters. Boosting is a Discord-based feature, which basically allows you to support servers, right? For example, once you actually do it, you're going to pop up on this side over here. You're going to have this role called the server booster. Simple. And once you become a booster, you're already going to be eligible for the testing session that's going to come soon for this revamp. Now, I think a developer did say that the testing session for boosters is going to happen in between a month or 2 weeks before the revamp. So basically, as the revamp gets closer, when they finally have a release date, that's when you're going to be able to actually test it as a booster. Hope that made sense. We have a really cool roleplay feature on the way, which has to do with driving licenses. So here we have this developer actually talking about it. His name is Z-Poise. As you can see, he posted a new image of the new feature. This person mentioned that while it'd be a cool feature, it would kind of be forgotten pretty quickly. At the time, he said that it hasn't been coded in yet, but he did confirm that you can make your own licenses. People were wondering what licenses, and then they realized driving licenses. This is going to be pretty interesting, all for the sake of roleplay. Then I was over here wondering how it would actually work. One person mentioned that's kind of going to be how ERLC kind of makes it work. Bad Dev said how we do plates in the current game. You go in settings and you configure your ID. He mentioned that changing your license will probably be free for everybody, but we will see. They're just going all out for this update, man. It's insane. So the new chassis, this new info about it is pretty interesting. So last time I tested it, what I will say, it felt pretty different than what we currently have when it comes to the chassis. It's different. It was a pretty drastic change, It almost kind of felt like a tad bit like Midnight Racing Tokyo. Just a tad bit. But the last time I tested it was I don't know, a few months ago at this point. So it's probably not the best comparison. But when it comes to comparing the current chassis to the new one, it's pretty different. But there was actually a rewrite to this chassis. Apparently now, they're going to try to maintain the same feel as the current chassis. So it's not going to be all that different. This is probably good news and bad news for some people, right? People like having new, This current chassis, it's not bad, at all. As a matter of fact, it's probably it's one of the main factors of why I like this game so much, It's really good. And something people love doing with the chassis is drifting. And, let's be real. Or actually, I'm going to keep it real. We did get the chance to actually test out drifting on the new chassis. And what I will say, drifting did not really feel that easy to initiate. But then again, the cars weren't really, drift vehicles. And the tires were probably actual sport tires. But when it came to drifting, drifting, it did not really feel that like easy to do. But in this game, you can drift like crazy. Like even without a like dedicated drift team, people love drifting. And I know most of y'all would love to drift on this new map. So see, Kai over here did mention that they have redone a bunch of stuff since the last test when it came to the chassis. They are driving way better now. Expect a new YouTuber test very soon, hopefully. Alright, now let's talk about the big part. Alright, the PvP aspect of the revamp. It's gonna be so much different, so much more different. So in Joji's stream last night, once again at the time of the recording of this video, Kai was talking in chat. He started off mentioning that changing your job is no longer actually going to respawn you anymore. Meaning, if you wanted to become, let's say, an FL Fitness employee, you actually have to drive there now. So there's no more of this like teleporting thing anymore. They're gonna put an end to this like teleportation kind of thing. I like using this feature for like quick access to like certain locations of the map, but you know, they're going all out. They're trying to be, you know, realistic. So, you know, realistically, you can't really, you know, become a dealership employee and just somehow spawn there in real life. That's not how it works. We kind of did get like a glimpse at this feature when they released the spawn at house feature. For example, if you go ahead and claim a house just like so and enable the spawn at house setting, if you change your job, it's just gonna spawn your own house. But this says they're gonna be putting an end to the respawning part of this whole thing. So it's gonna kinda but not really be like this feature. But you know, I digress. When it comes to the criminal team, it is true that they're actually gonna be removing the criminal team. But here's the catch I was talking about, that I was going to talk about. Guns are not going away though. As a matter of fact, this developer over here by the name of Vegetable, he mentioned that everyone is gonna be a criminal. Now of course, not everyone is gonna be a criminal, you know, but this person from our server made a really good point, and it really makes sense, right? Switcher has plans for the new criminal system, which sounds like a GTA style system where pretty much everyone can have a weapon, meaning it's no longer going to require you to join a criminal team to have a gun. You could just go to the gun store and pick up one. That's going to be crazy, bro. Those were some pretty good news regarding this update, but if you want to know some things you should do in preparation, like things you should do before this update comes out, check out this video right here.